A lot of things we should be aware of and understand what's going on. Brothers and sisters that's online, share the video. Reach out to your friends, tag people, whatever you got to do. Spread this information out there because it's really relevant for our people of Israel to understand and know the times that we're living in. Let's open up in Romans 13. And we'll open up with Romans 13 and 11. So I got a lot of information for everybody. If I'm moving too fast, slow me down, let me know. If you need any information regarding sources, you let me know. I can give them to you after class. But other than that, take your notes. The best thing I can say is, in order for you to find the information, write down the title of the article, and you should be able to find it in Google or Bing or whatever search engine that you're choosing to look for. That'll be the best way that you can find the information. All right? Romans 13 and 11.
Verse 11, and that, knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep.
So we see in the Most High made a declaration that there's a specific time when we should be awakening. Our minds should start unlocking and start coming into realms of consciousness to knowing who we are and understanding the time. So time is relevant. Understanding and knowing the times is definitely relevant as it pertains to the salvation of the nation of Israel. So it said now knowing the time. If you aren't aware of what's going on around you, what's in your immediate spiritual, physical surroundings, you don't know what time it is, as they say, in the world. You've got to know the times because now is the time that we should be awakening. You see it all over the place. The entertainers are starting to wake up. Hollywood is starting to crash and burn. They all eating each other alive out there with the sex scandals and the casting couches and all that. Everything's being exposed now. So as the scripture said that the son of perdition has to be revealed before the salvation of the children of Israel comes about. You're going to see it now. America's unfolding. The nasty layers of the onion is being exposed. People are starting to tear up. They starting to smell it. Now what are you going to do about it? Read on.
For now is our salvation nearer than when we believe.
See, by no means am I trying to declare when the salvation is, I'm not telling you that. But we know that there were markers and there's information within these scriptures that let us know what we should be looking for when it comes down to the salvation of Israel. If you're looking for salvation, that's what we all sitting here for, right? We are looking for that everlasting life. We want that rest. We want it all. Dry eyes and tears, servants' handmaid. If we want that, the Most High said, well, I'm going to tell you what to look for when it's time for that to start coming your way, or when the beginnings of those times are coming your way. So it says, for now our salvation is nearer than when we believed. All right. One thing I want to touch on is this: drugs and their effects. This is one of the biggest things that happens within the Israelite community. Our people are strung out on drugs. There's over 70% of Americans alone are on some sort of drug, whether it's pills, weed, prescriptive medication for whatever, diabetes, heart disease. 70% of the people is on some sort of antidepressants. All of those things is relevant to understanding, well, what's going on with the drug usage and why is it so relevant and rampant in the earth now. 1 Corinthians 3 and 16.
Book of 1 Corinthians chapter 3 and verse 16. Know ye not that ye are the temple of the Most High, and that the Spirit of the Most High dwelleth in you?
That's one of the main principles as Israelites. We got to understand and know how precious our temples are to the Most High. We went through the whole 8 days of tabernacles and understanding the relevance of our bodies being the tabernacles, the dwelling places that the Spirit of the Most High will rest in. All the things that will be found within us, the forward thoughts, the pride, the arrogancy, all those things that make the Spirit of the Most High flee out, and how we're to preserve our temples, all those things we got understanding of during our feast time. So now, if you're looking at it like this, look, if we're the temple of the Most High, even down to the most, I'm not going to say minute, it's popular now, been popular for a while, tattooing. How many times do you see churches vandalized? You see a lot of gangsters, or taggers hitting up and defaming churches? Nah, even they have a certain amount of respect. They say, man, that's a church. Go pass that up. But what we do to our bodies? Shh. I want my mama's name, my birthday. I want my ex on me over here. I want my hood here. I want my girlfriend name. I want the tramp stamp on my lower back. Okay? And then we sit up there and defame our temples. And that's why the Most High said, don't you know that your temple is where the Spirit of the Most High is supposed to be dwelling? And we take it for light to say, no, I'm my own. It's my body. I can do what I want with it. If I want to paint Mickey Mouse on my cheek, I'm going to do it. Go ahead.
Verse 17, if any man defile the temple of the Most High, him shall the Most High destroy, for the temple of the Most High is holy, which temple ye are.
And that's the spirit that we have to maintain. But we're going to see how influential America is and the world is into influencing drug use, drug culture. That's all that, especially in the hip-hop community now, that's all it's about now. I forgot who was saying that. I was listening to some cat, and he was talking about in the 90s and in the 80s, it was about the drug dealer culture. Now it's about the drug user. You're catering to fiends now. Your audience is dope fiends. And all you're doing is continuing in, strung out on whatever drug they choose. Molly, weed. We're going to find out now who has the patents for those. Who created those things? And why are they so prevalent in our communities? Why are people running around here zombied out? Doing everything from lines of coke to heroin to you name it. And it's glorified and you're being rewarded in the entertainment field for promoting it and doing it publicly. Lean. I mean, it's almost mandatory for rappers and singers to smoke and drink during interviews because they have to continue promoting the culture. Isaiah 24. And let's read verse 5.
Book of Isaiah chapter 24 and verse 5. The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof.
So we're seeing that the earth is deteriorating. It's being defiled. The earth is, sinkholes popping up all over the place. The soils no longer are producing the proper nutrients and minerals for proper growth anymore. That's why Esau is making a GMO, strands of everything. The earth's been defiled now. So you can say, well, I'm a vegan, vegetarian. That's cool. But the water, they spraying down. Oh, it still got the sterilant, still got the chemicals, still got the lead, still got the fluoride. Nothing is safe. So we find ourselves in the quandary of choosing the lesser of two evils. I can choose the vegetable. I can choose the meat. I can choose nothing. If you're not on the right-hand side of the Most High keeping these commandments, it doesn't even matter. You could be a carnivore grubbing it to who knows when, and if you ain't been keeping them commandments, you dead either way. You could be a lettuce head and vegan. You ain't keeping them commandments, you dead either way. You got to lock in with what this book says. And if the book is telling you, look, the earth's defiled under the inhabitants thereof, let's make sure that we're not being defiled. Let's make sure that we're keeping the righteousness and the laws and the commandments. Either way, that's why you read in Romans 15. He said, look, you want to eat the meat, want to eat the herbs. Which one's better? Well, they're both good so long as you're doing what's right. When you're looking at the culture that Esau's even promoting, the Franken foods, the drinks, everything he's got is all jacked up and defiled. Everything's compromised because the earth has been corrupted. So it says the earth is defiled under the inhabitants thereof. Why?
Because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant. Therefore hath the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left.
And that's why you see so much of the destruction that's happening within the earth. From the tornadoes, the hurricanes, the fires, the famines, the pestilences. The earth is rejecting and rebelling against all manners of wickedness as well. So let's get into a few articles. Number one, Canada pot stocks rally as Ontario plans to open 150 stores. This alone is letting you know where the path is going to lead for America. See, as the weed heads is running around here celebrating in the streets and openly smoking out on the streets, it's the gateway for the government to control, and they're going to start regulating and producing and selling you the weed they want you to smoke. The little goofy strands that all these jakes are running around here smoking has already got them zombied out. That ain't nothing compared to what America's going to do when he and the governmental laws come into effect, where they say we're going to move like Canada. The stocks is rallying. They making money over there. We're going to open up our own governmental stores. They did the same thing back in the days of Prohibition. Outlawed liquor and all of that. Said nobody can sell liquor, cigarettes, no. And then what they do, they loosen up the laws and they said it's got to be governmental control. You can sell them, but we need the taxes on that. You can sell them, but you got to put the labels on it. You can sell them, but you got to get your patents. You got to get your license, and everything comes to us. Now they're going to already start opening up their own stuff. Canada marijuana producers rose on Friday after Ontario said it would open as many as 150 government-run pot stores and allow online purchases on the county gears up for legalized recreational sales next July. The Liquor Control Board of Ontario will reach the 150-store target by 2020 and manage the sale of distribution of marijuana. Ontario Finance Minister Charles Sosa said Friday the stores won't be housed inside government-owned liquor stores, and there will be as many as 80 stores operational in the first year, he said. So we're seeing the overall goal is he wants to promote it so that he can control it. If he can control it, he can control you. More opiate prescriptions than people in some California counties. How can you have more people on prescription drugs than there are in the actual whole county? Somebody's doubling up on, tripling up on prescriptions. Yeah, opiates, those are all the heroin-based pills that everybody's promoting. Percocets, I forgot all the other ones. There's about 5 different ones that they have that majority of these jakes out here is all popping and sniffing. I mean, look, you seen the for those that watch the sport, you seen the Miami coach. He's sniffing coke live, filming himself. That's how dumb they are now. As he's mumbling, love cupcaking to some damn stripper that he's in love with, sniffing lines. Videotaping himself, and she goes and publishes it like, look at this dummy. She puts it out there, and he ends up firing himself. But of course, he leaves with pay, $2 million and $2.5 million paycheck. He's still good, so he can continue supporting his habit. He'll lay low for a little while, and somebody gonna rehire him later on down the line. That's how it works. So here you got more opiate prescriptions than there are people in some California counties. Trinity County is the state's 4th smallest and ended last year with an estimated population of 13,628 people. Its residents also filled prescriptions for oxycodone, hydrocodone, and other opiates 18.439 times the highest per capita rate in California. Places like West Virginia, Ohio, and rural New England have become synonymous with prescription painkiller abuse, and surge blamed for more than 183,000 deaths from 1999 to 2015. They're stringing out whole counties and telling you it's okay, don't worry about it. Now look at this. Banned pesticides showing up in California water. Where's them pesticides coming from? Good gardening, bad gardening? Let me see. Sacramento, California, toxic chemicals from illegal marijuana farms hidden deep in California's forests are showing up in rivers and streams that feed the state's water supply, prompting fears that humans and animals may be at risk. Data reviewed by Reuters show the presence of potentially deadly pollutants in 8 northern and central California watersheds is the latest sign of damage to the environment from thousands of illegal cannabis plantations, many of them run by drug cartels serving customers in other states, according to law enforcement. Many of the illegal growers use fertilizers and pesticides long restricted or banned in the United States, including carbofuran and zinc phosphide. Now, my question is, if it's lethal to drink, what's it doing for the smokers? If you can't drink this stuff and you inhaling and filling your, come on. This stuff is killing the animals, it's killing the environment all around, and they sitting up here allowing it to continually go down because they open up the door. You saying it's legal, it's good, come on with it, and now they running rampant, planting it all over the place. What is carbofuran? Carbofuran is one of the most toxic carbamate pesticides. It is marketed under the trade name Furadan by FMC Corporation and Curator. Among several others, it is used to control insects in a wide variety of field crops, including potatoes, corn, and soybeans. Carbofuran is banned in Canada and the European Union. In 2008, the United States Environmental Protection Agency announced that it intends to ban carbofuran. In December of that year, FMC Corporation, a sole U.S. manufacturer of carbofuran, announced that it had voluntarily requested that the United States EPA cancel all but 6 of the previously allowed uses of that chemical as a pesticide. So notice it said that the company had to go to the government and say, look, you keep on letting us sell us stuff, we're coming voluntarily to you to take these, at least 6 of the 8 that we selling off, because we killing people and you just allowing it. I guess a guilty conscience kicked in. Carbofuran poisoning, it can cause headaches, nausea, dizziness, vomiting, uncontrollable muscle twitching, convulsions, and even death, according to the National Institutes of Health. Poisoning by diazinon, another chemical that they found in the streams, can cause difficulty breathing, weakness, blue lips and fingernails, convulsion, and coma. When you see blue lips, you see them black lips Jake's be having smoking, it's probably from that. All right? And they thinking it's because of good weed and resin. Zinc phosphide. This is what else they have in the fertilizers. And this is why they said it's grown by illegal growers, right? So some of these little weed stores, like the one they had next door, notice they got up out of here, they run it. They ain't legal. I seriously doubt they was, because they moving around like it ain't nothing. So how many of them are actually getting cheap, black market, under the counter, crazy strands that probably got these damn pesticides all on them, and these jakes is running around here smoking it up and wondering why their fingernails and lips is turning blue and black and they having shortness of breath and feeling dizzy and all kind of madness. Zinc phosphide is a highly toxic. In Indian certification markings, it is marked as highly dangerous. It means that 1 to 50 milligrams of the substance ingested orally can be lethal. Milligrams. And these jakes is out there smoking grams of weed. Imagine. Now, check this out. Job 9:24. Let's go there. Patent number 6,630,507 is the government patent that they have on weed. The government, did you hear that? The government has a patent on weed. They're growing their own strands. They own cannabis plant compounds. So is our government dope dealers or what? Read that, Job 9:24.
The earth is given into the hand of the wicked.
That's why they can do it. When you got wicked people running the earth and controlling everything that happens within it, they're going to take every advantage that they can to do it. If that means I can create a community of dependent users, I'm going to do it. So if our oppressor in the government has a patent in the ownership of weed, that means they're already, that's why I said earlier, what they're doing in Canada, that's nothing. They already said, well, first we got to get the patent, we got to control it. Then we're going to start opening up our own governmental stores. Then that's when we can really hook them, and that's when we can really slow kill them. The earth's been given into the hand of the wicked. Go ahead.
He covereth the faces of the judges thereof.
So he's going to cover up the righteous judges, the children of Israel. Of course, he's got The fake Jews, the Amalekites, the descendants of the Khazars, running around, claiming to be us, covered up the faces of the ultimate judge. Christ said that he was white, Caesar Borgia. We should all know that. Read on.
If not, where and who is he?
So as we continue on throughout this night, you're going to see. If you say that the white man is not the devil and the wicked, you got to be an agent. At the end of the day, or you not Israel. Something ain't right with you. All right? So, it may not have quite the same ring to it as a certain 7-digit number made by a famous 1980s pop hit, but 6,630,507 has become internet famous since the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration opted not to reschedule marijuana, leaving it in the category of drugs with no legitimate medical uses. Since then, proponents of legalization have responded with a storm of social media posts highlighting U.S. patent 6,630,507 granted in 2003 to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and covering the potential use of non-psychoactive cannabis to protect the brain from damage of degeneration caused by certain diseases such as cirrhosis. They're telling the DEA to talk to the hand, writing 6,630,507 on their palms, hashtagging their number, and linking it to the past articles of the topic. So the weed heads are out there saying, don't be a hypocrite. You're telling us that the weed has no legitimate medical uses. Meanwhile, you're patenting it and you're using it for your own use. So they're showing the hypocritical nature of the government. Everybody write this down. I always give y'all a little jewel to go check out research on your own. MDMA. That's what Future and all these other ignorant dummies rapping about. It's Molly. In other words, ecstasy. Esau, the government, they created that, patented it out, and they got our people out there popping them, partying, wilding out, doing it. German chemists originally synthesized MDMA or ecstasy for pharmaceutical purposes in 1912. You hear how old that is? We thinking Molly just came out in the 2000s. 1912. They've been bubbling this up, popping them. During the Cold War, the CIA experimented with MDMA as a psychological weapon. Ecstasy had become a popular party drug by the late 80s, and its recreational use is often associated with rave culture, dance parties, and electronic music festivals. The substance they discovered had unique psychoactive properties. The pharmaceutical company Merck patented MDMA in 1914 as a compound that could have pharmaceutical value. It would be several decades before further drug development would take place. During the Cold War, both the U.S. Army and the CIA experimented with MDMA and other hallucinogenic drugs as weapons. I guess they figured that it really does work when they're running around hustling it out here in the streets and letting our people pop them and wild out in the party scene, fornicating, coming up with diseases, unwanted pregnancies, rape. See? MK Ultra and CIA project started in the 50s, worked on the application of psychedelics and mind control. The project became notorious for testing psychoactive drugs on unwitting subjects. Let's talk about some disasters. That's something that everybody should be familiar with and seeing. Within the last month alone, let's open up to the Apocrypha, Sirach 39. So we see how the drug culture, the manipulation and control is in full effect. And who is behind some of the most popular drugs that people are abusing now, from the opiates to the Molly to the weed. Yours favorite oppressor and the nations is calling the shots on it. Sirach 39, let's open up with 28.
Book of Sirach, chapter 39, verse 28. There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them.
Go ahead.
Fire and hail and famine and death All these were created for vengeance.
So we're seeing all the tools that the Most High uses to cause judgment on the earth. See, some people may say, no, that's Esau with harp, geoengineering. It's not the Most High. See, again, trying to delete and take out the power of the Lord to still contribute it and give credit to Esau. I'll put it like this. Even if that was true, go to Job. I want Job 16 and even if that was true, and you say, well, it's geoengineering. He's 12 and 16.
Job chapter 12 and verse 16. With him is strength and wisdom.
Speaking about the Most High, go ahead.
The deceived and the deceiver are his.
So who's doing it again? Is it Esau and harp and geoengineering, or is it the Most High? See, Esau, he not going to lie to you. He got a movie coming out later this month called Geostorm, where he's going to acknowledge, look, y'all, weather manipulating, and it's out of control. Satellites got messed up, but it's starting to destroy the earth. Is it a coincidence that it just happened after all of these storms in September that he comes out and has to tell the truth? Maybe, maybe not. Either way, it's the Most High. I'm just a proponent that it's the Most High that's doing it. I'm giving Esau no credit. So, jump over to Psalms 83. Start of read 13 down to 15. So we've seen some of the things that the Most High said. Fire, hail, meaning heavy storms, famine, death. All those things have been out there. The spirit of vengeance is open, and they're not failing in their job. Go ahead and read that 13 down to 15.
Book of Psalm 83, verse 13. O my Father, make them like a wheel, as stubble before the wind, as the fire burneth a wood, and as a flame setteth the mountains on fire.
Now listen to how this is being described. It said, make it like the wheel and the stubble before the wind. So when we see all those fires out here, right, what was causing all of those embers to fly around and move from all the way down to damn near Anaheim to up in Napa Valley and Sacramento, San Francisco and all? You got fires that's raging up north, down south, and we had what they had a few days ago, Santa Ana winds that blows. That's why I said it's like the wheel in front of a fan. Doesn't that wind hit you? Because it's spinning. That's what the Most High was acknowledging when it said, now make it like the wheel and the stubble before the wind. Go ahead.
As the fire burneth a wood, and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire.
Read on.
So persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm.
See, so the storms, the flames, the fire, all of that is coming. Go to 2nd Ezra 9, 1 through 6. So I was meditating on this the other day, and I was like, we're always looking for that earthquake for California, but these fires has done just as much or more damage than the storms down in Houston, Miami, not as bad as Puerto Rico and some of the smaller islands. But if you're looking at death toll, California, there's still like over 400 people missing from the fires. I think I said, 30-something people dead. That's equivalent or better than them hurricanes. Thousands of buildings destroyed, jobs lost, houses gone, the whole nine. So I'm like, we waiting on the earthquake. Maybe these fires is really the Most High got to purge out California. We're going to still get earthquakes. But this might be our portion of, and it ain't really hitting Israel like that. It's up there with the heathen is at, which is all good. But but don't trip. Most High said, I'm getting you too. I just want you to start paying attention, beware, and repenting before I touch you. 2 Ezra 9, start at 1, read down to 6.
Verse 1, He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made.
See, this is what Ezra was praying for. He wanted to have prophecy revealed to him. So the angel told him, you got to go fast, 7 days. Come back. I'll give you a little bit more understanding. Leave. Fast some more. Come back. So now he's giving him understanding. He said, I'm going to let you know when the highest is going to visit the world again. So pay attention to the times. Go ahead.
Verse 3, Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world,
Go ahead.
then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even before the beginning.
Read on.
For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest.
So he said now, as they say, that's old saying, all good things must come to an end. Even down to kingdoms. All right, so we know Esau's kingdom is not going to be forever. Even that has to come to an end. He's had various reigns of rule from the Greeks to the Romans to the French to the Spanish to the Russians. So he's had various rules all the way up to now, modern day Babylon. Moses said, look, even that's going to have an end. He said, now you're going to see the end manifesting. Read on.
Verse 6, Even so, the times also of the highest have plain beginnings in wonders and powerful works, and endings in effects and signs.
So it said the endings is going to have effects and signs, and it's going to be powerful. All right? I guarantee you, they ain't think this would ever happen in Puerto Rico. That their whole island be wiped out. They won't have power until next year sometime. That's hellish. If you're looking at going back to the Stone Ages, living back in like the damn 50s and 40s when you didn't have no phones, you can forget about internet and TV. No. They can't even get food and aid to the people. Because what? Airports shut down. You ain't getting the food is sitting at the docks. They can't even gas up to go get the food. San Juan, Puerto Rico, a mountain of food, water, and other vital supplies has arrived in Puerto Rico's main port of San Juan. But a shortage of truck drivers and the island's devastated infrastructure are making it tough to move aid to where it's needed most, officials say. At least 10,000 containers of supplies, including food, water, and medicine, were sitting Thursday at the San Juan port, said Jose Ayala, the Crowley Shipping Company's vice president in Puerto Rico. Part of the reason for the distribution backlog is that only 20% of the truck drivers have reported back to work since Hurricane Maria swept through, according to a representative for Puerto Rican government, Ricardo Rosario. On top of that, a diesel fuel shortage and a tangle of blocked roads mean the distribution of supplies is extremely challenging. Even contacting drivers is a problem because cell towers are still down. Puerto Ricans waiting for aid. When we say that we don't have truck drivers, we mean that we have not been able to contact them. So how raw is that? To be in a situation where your home's destroyed, you flooded out, kids sick, grandma's dying, whatever, and food and everything is right at the port, but they can't get it to you. Now that's hell. But some people say that Puerto Rico was given as a land of a blessing to the children of Israel. I can't see it. Sierra Leone, mudslides and floods leave more than 1,000 people dead, local leaders say. Sierra Leone, West Africa, I guarantee you there's some Israel over there. The government had earlier put the death toll for the August 14 mudslide of 450 dead, while rescuers and aid groups warned that many of the more than 600 people missing will likely not survive. Over 1,000 perished in the mudslide and flood disaster, and we will never know the exact number now. Eleanor Jokimi Metzger, the head of the Women of Region, said. So, you see, they're out there digging graves, just preparing to bury the dead. They're still looking for it. This was almost 2 months ago. Still digging up bodies. And that was all from a rainstorm, mudslide, completely collapsed and destroyed villages and homes, destroying people. So we're seeing it global, all over the place. Nigeria, floods displaced more than 100,000 people. That's not small numbers. That's not, something to just sniff at and be. That's not like it's 100 people. 100,000, that's like biblical numbers. That's a mass exodus of people. More than 100,000 people have fled their homes because of major flooding in the central state of Benue in Nigeria, according to President Muhammadu Buhari. I have received with great concern reports of the flooding in Benue State displacing from early estimates more than 100,000 people, Buhari wrote on Twitter late on Thursday. You see how he's even caught up in this matrix. You the president, and you communicating through Twitter. It's 100,000 people that lost their homes. They displaced. You think they checking their Twitter feed? You got to get out there and go find out. Well, let me go get to my people. Let me find out what's going on. But he's in the matrix. He said his government will make available assistance to those affected. We will surmount the disaster and working with the state government, bring succor and relief to all affected persons and communities. Mudslides in Sierra Leone, Nigeria. Death toll in 61. Mexico quake. Everybody heard about that. One of the most powerful earthquakes ever recorded in Mexico struck off the country's southern coast, toppling hundreds of buildings and sending panicked people fleeing into the streets in the middle of the night. At least 61 people were reported dead. That number's gone up because this is from like 2 or 3 weeks ago. The quake that hit minutes before midnight Thursday was strong enough to cause buildings to sway violently in the capital city more than 650 miles or 1,000 kilometers away. As beds banged against walls, people still wearing pajamas ran out of their homes and gathered in frightened groups. California fires. Just look at this picture. That look like, Book of Eli, Road Warrior, Mad Max. Complete destruction. As devastating wildfires continue to spread in Sonoma and Napa counties Wednesday, firefighters launched a desperate effort to extinguish key hotspots before heavy fire-stoking winds could kick back up later in the evening. Officials near the strong winds forecast for Wednesday evening and Thursday morning will spread embers from the deadly Tubbs fire to populated areas of Santa Rosa and Calistoga that have so far been spared the flames, a development that would prompt new evacuations. We are facing some pretty significant monsters. Notice the adjective that they used. Monsters, right? The scripture said that these was spirits that the Most High created. LA Times is calling it monsters. No. These are spirits that the Most High sent out to bring forth these judgments. So you're looking at fires up north, Sonoma County, near San Francisco, all the way down to Anaheim, Orange County area. So north to south, California's burning up. Hollywood is burning up with all their little scandals. So inside out, you seeing it. Let's go to Isaiah 28 and 8. I'm sorry, Jeremiah 28 and 8.
Book of Jeremiah, chapter 28 and verse 8. The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries.
No, prophesied of love.
Prophesied both against many countries.
Prosperity.
Against many countries.
Feel good.
Against many countries.
See, the Most High said the pedigree of a prophet would be to prophesy against countries, read.
And against great kingdoms.
And against kingdoms. Meanwhile, they're over here rubber-dubbing and co-opting with this nation, trying to make friends, and Uncle Tom and Brown nosing their way to prosperity. He said the prophets of old, he said they would talk against these kingdoms that was doing wickedness, not trying to co-sign them, as TD Fakes and all the rest of them are doing. Read.
Against great kingdoms of war and of evil.
Of war and evil, read.
And of pestilence.
And of pestilence. Pestilence being disease. I told y'all like a little, a month or so ago after the Hurricane Harvey, I said, watch, the diseases is the next thing coming. Did I not? Women dies of flesh-eating bacteria after Hurricane Harvey. She's the first, and I'm sure there'll be plenty to come after her. A woman who lived in a Houston suburb that suffered severe flooding from Hurricane Harvey died earlier this month from flesh-eating bacteria that infected her through a tear in her skin, according to the Harris County Medical Examiner's Office. Nancy Reed, 77, died September 15th of necrotizing fasciitis, more commonly known as a flesh-eating bacteria. Her autopsy results were confirmed on Tuesday. So, as we know, there was a nuclear reactor that got triggered. You got all kind of spores from mold that's all in the waters and in the homes and everything else. Those things is toxic when you breathe them. Let alone the gas that's floating around all in the water. The people was rolling, flopping around in and accidentally swallowing it up. It's just the beginning. Fiji, rocked by 2 earthquakes measuring 6.5 and 5.1 in the middle of Australia's school in the holidays. So mind you, this is all within like a month. 2 earthquakes struck off the coast of Fiji on Tuesday, one measuring 6.5, the other measuring 5.1. The biggest quake was recorded at approximately 2:20 p.m., measuring a depth of 104 kilometers and struck south of the Fijian Islands in the South Pacific, while the smaller quake was registered 289 kilometers north of Ndoye Island around 11:40 a.m. and was 570 kilometers deep. Despite the size of the quakes, the Pacific Tsunami Warning Center said there was no threat of a tsunami. It comes after a 6.0 earthquake also struck nearby Papua New Guinea on Tuesday morning. So Papua New Guinea got 6.0, 2 of them hit Fiji. I bet we didn't feel these, but they was there. 28 earthquakes in 24 hours. Big one could strike without warning here in California. The U.S. cities of Los Angeles, San Francisco, and Sacramento have all been rattled by large earthquakes, 1.5 magnitude or greater in the past day. That was on, what day was that? Oh, I cut it off. The largest quake measured 2.6 magnitude, struck at 4:30 local time at a depth of 23 kilometers near Tuluma City, around 213 kilometers from San Francisco. So we're seeing that, California's shaking up a little bit. Could be leading up to a bigger one. Who knows? But as of right now, we got fires to deal with. Another quake in Chile. A major quake in Chile. The 4th in 36 hours. 9 volcanoes showing activity in a coronal hole on our sun-facing Earth. The Ring of Fire is flexing its muscles. 6.3 earthquake in Putre, Chile, is the 5th major quake of October and the 80th of 2017. It is also the 4th major quake in the last 36 hours, and along with 9 volcanoes showing activity, the Ring of Fire is surely flexing its muscles. So, South America, you got 9 volcanoes that could erupt at any time, constantly getting hit with earthquakes. Bali, tsunami warning, 5.7 magnitude earthquake strikes. That's over in Indonesia. They got hit. Here's some more. It's worse than Flint. More than 10,000 families in LA have been exposed to toxic fumes due to chemical leaks in the soil. Remember, the earth is defiled. More than 10,000 families in Los Angeles are being exposed to toxic fumes such as lead, benzene, and arsenic due to chemical leaks from an old plant. They did that with Ujima Village. It was a project that Jakes was living in. And they had toxic exposure, nuclear waste. They had to shut down the projects and move people out. Not before a gang of our people got cancer, as they allowed the kids to go play out in the playgrounds and the little gangsters hanging out didn't know what they was getting exposed to. It's still going on. It said it's worse than the Flint water crisis, and it's not really being made a big issue over here. How come nobody's running around with Black Lives Matter and protesting and talking about how we're getting exposed to toxic chemicals to having these old plants still operating around here? This is just downtown. Exide Technology, an old recycling battery plant in Vernon near L.A., closed down in 2015 after ongoing reports of dangerous chemical exposure to residents by mere contact. But after the closure, it left behind large traces of chemicals in the soil and air of homes as far as 5 miles away from the plant. These chemicals are partly damaging to children who play around in the grass outside the houses and touch contaminated soil. See, this was just 2 years ago. But the thing is that because it's toxic and it's chemical, it travels in the air. It's not like you shut down the plant, it's gone. Anything nuclear way, if a nuclear bomb hit in Idaho, everything in Idaho, Midwest, wherever the wind blows, is contaminated. You can forget about it. The air, the grass, the land, whatever you touch, it's the same thing that they got going on now. So as kids is out there playing in the dirt and grass and all that, they touching on chemicals, they getting infected. But where's the outcry? What are they gonna do about it? They ain't gonna do nothing. But rack up the insurance bills, rack up the pharmaceutical bills, the medical bills, the funeral homes. If you ever notice, like in the hood, this is the only place that you will see advertisements for funeral arrangements. I remember seeing posters about funeral arrangements. If you need funeral arrangements, or you need to need money for burials or something like that, or cremations, I was like, this is the only place they do this at. Dads, posting up there for the dads fight for your rights. We can help you get custody of your kids and all. I'm like, that lets you know we're in the cursed place. Let's talk about economics. Let's go to Ecclesiastes 7 and 12. This is why Christ said, look, that the time has to be shortened so that some of the elect can live. Because if we're being surrounded by not only toxic air, land, food, water, destruction from the earth, earthquakes, fires, come on. And the atheists and the hard-headed, stiff-necked, rebellious that don't want to follow after this Bible say that we don't have a need for salvation. We don't need to be saved from anything. Come on. Ecclesiastes 7 and 12.
Verse 12, devise not a lie against thy brother, neither do light.
Ecclesiastes. But that's true too. Believe that. Don't devise a lie against your brother. But 7 and 12.
Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 12.
Mm-hmm.
For wisdom is a defense, and money is a defense.
See, write down Isaiah 33:6. Most High said, wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. Now he reinforces it and says, wisdom is going to be a defense. If you're not walking in wisdom and understanding truly what it is to be wise in the laws and the commandments and the guidance of the Most High, you can forget about it. The average hard-headed, stiff-necked Jake out there and sister out there, they ain't thinking about methods of survival. They ain't thinking about any type of wisdom to maintain themselves, their households, their children. They living in the moment. They looking at self-satisfaction. How can they feel better in that day? And 9 times out of 10, they medicating. There was a sister, she came knocking on my door. I don't even know where she came from, asking to use my phone. Because she didn't have a charger for her phone, and it's dead, and she got to go get her daughter from school. And I'm like, how the hell can you be, you that irresponsible? that your daughter is out there waiting on you at school. You got no way to contact her because you knocking on doors trying to ask somebody to use a phone. Unbelievable. But that's how low we stooped as a people of ignorance. Wisdom is a defense. Read on.
And money is a defense.
Money is a defense. So now we're seeing the effects that not having financial defense and support, what's it doing in Venezuela? Venezuela rapidly is collapsing into another North Korea. Nearly all flights are halted, media controlled, citizens blocked from escaping. Venezuela, they got sanctions on them. They used to be one of the richest countries in Central America. They've been reduced to pure poverty. Food lines, highly inflated prices. I mean, it's out of control there. They can't. People are trying to leave. They can't leave. It looks like more trouble in paradise for socialist utopia Venezuela. The list of issues includes food rationing and widespread starvation, skyrocketing unemployment, rampant crime and social unrest, political corruption and suppression of opposition parties, state-controlled media, hyperinflation and gasoline shortages, despite the country having the world's largest oil reserves. They got the largest oil reserve, but you know what? Esau said, look, you don't want to play fair with us. You don't want to play the game. We'll cut you out. We're telling everybody, don't get no oil from you. They sitting on a wealth of oil and can't distribute it. They can't make no money off it because they didn't want to play. Back when Hugo Chavez was the president, he finally paid off his loans to the IMF and said, look, I don't want nothing more to do with you, Esau. Let me sit back and control my country. And they said, oh, you don't want that? You don't want our help anymore? Okay. We're cutting you off. And then they sit back and pay some of the corrupt leaders that they put in place. They sit back and oppress the people. They organize fake coups and trying to overthrow. It's crazy. I told y'all a long time ago, check that documentary South of the Border. You'll see how Esau operates in third world countries and gains control, colonizing them through politics and loans of money, and takes over whole countries by doing that. Venezuela is a offshoot of that. So our people down there is catching hell in the worst way. Cash in short supply in storm-ravaged Puerto Rico. And post-Hurricane San Juan, and on Monday, commerce picked up ever so slightly. With a little effort, you could get the basics and sometimes more. Diapers, medicine, or even a gourmet hamburger smothered in fried onions and gorgonzola cheese. But almost impossible to find was a place that accepted credit cards. Cash only, said Abraham LeBron, the store manager standing guard at Supermax, a supermarket in San Juan's Plaza de las Armas. He was in a well-policed area but admitted feeling like a sitting duck with so many bills on hand. The system is down, so we can't process the cards. It's tough, but one finds a way to make it work. Here's a question and it's a question for the mark of the beast proponents. The chip. If it's programmed and wired to buy and sell and all of that, power grid goes out, storm goes on, how is that still going to be utilized as a system of oppression when nobody's works? You don't think Esau's already got that figured out? He's more worried about the power grid because he knows once that's wiped out, all that's done with. So does it make sense to really invest in microchips for everybody? You won't be able to survive without the chip. You can't survive with it. if what I'm seeing is true. Okay? So as the old saying goes, cash is king. Cash, gold, silver, barter, trade. That's real survival when stuff goes down. All right? Ask the people in Puerto Rico, they'll tell you their credit cards ain't working. So if they had them damn chips, they wouldn't work either. They'd really be starving. Now here's the real game. Go to Micah 2. Distressed investors are already buying Houston homes for 40 cents on the dollar. Isn't that nice? Here come the destruction. And who comes back to buy it up so he can reinvest, take over? You know, Houston is a highly populated area with Israel. Blacks, Hispanics, many of them lost their homes. hard up for money. Banks and investors say, you know what? It's going to take a little bit of money if you invest. We'll sell it to you cheap. All the investors is running down there now. Now they're starting to buy up Houston again. So they can gentrify it. Jason ain't going to be going back to Houston by the time Esau's done with it. Read Micah 2. And let's just read 1 and 2. As they capitalize on calamity. If that ain't the devil, I don't know what is.
Book of Micah chapter 2, verse 1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds.
Uh-huh.
When the morning is light, they practice it.
See, notice they said when the morning is light, they practice it. When you see a word like already, that means they ain't even let the damn mud dry yet. And they over there like, how much? I'll give you this. Yeah, give me all that whole block. I'll take every house on there. Well, you know, it's got a lot of water. Don't worry about it. I've got all that covered. But I do need that price. It's yours. So already, they're already going at it. Go ahead.
Because it is in the power of their hand.
Remember, earth given into the hand of the wicked. Read on.
And they covered fields.
Covered fields. Just like they did Native Americans, just like they did Central America, South America, the Caribbean island. Covered those fields and they do whatever it takes to get it. Murder, rape, rob, steal, false treaties. Buying up cheap housing after a disaster. Read.
And they covered fields and take them by violence.
Go ahead.
And houses and houses. And take them away.
So, didn't we just read it? 40 cents on the dollar, they buying up these people's houses. Go ahead.
So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage.
See, and they already talking about the money that was going to the Red Cross that they ain't getting to the people. Should we be surprised? Haiti is still a hellhole. And they got multi-millions of dollars over there. And the Clinton Foundation said, thank you. As they was going over there to voodoo seances and all of that. Soaking up the witchcraft and taking money as they went away. That's true. You can look that up. Was that it? Or two?
Yes.
All right. How many's feeling this type of pinch? California exodus. Poll finds voters considering moving due to sky-high housing costs. So they talking about now. Meanwhile, California's burning up and they still trying to charge you overcharge you to live here. Everything's going up. If you see a Starbucks in the hood, you can forget about it. They are already planning on gentrifying and boosting up your cost of living. That's the marker. Starbucks and damn really Starbucks sets the tone. Because after that, they're going to start bringing in all the little knockoff burger places. And, you know, just like they do in Inglewood. Who's that back there? Go ahead, Izar.
Yeah, they put the Starbucks on Rosecrans in Normandy.
Right.
And they rebuilt the one over Redondo in Normandy, so it's big. And they put a Habit, a Five Guys, and something else right here on Crenshaw Imperial.
That's right.
Chipotle go up those places.
Chipotle. That's right. Chipotle. You know, Five Guys, The Habit, Starbucks. I mean, Jakes didn't know nothing about this 5-10 years ago. But you go out to the Valley, you go to damn Orange County, you go to Santa Monica, you gonna see all of those places. You say, this white folks stuff. They coming here now? Okay, guess who else is coming with them? You see them already walking their dogs in the whole nine. On the real. Officer next door, that's right. We talked about that a few months ago. Officer next door, the program's already in effect. Cheap houses to the cops so they can come in there and have their arresting capabilities in their district. And they saying that it's to police the area, but no. It's to open up the doors for Esau to come in and say, we already got it protected. Come on in. We're going to get the niggas up out of here in the spigs. Wetbacks, they out of here. More than half of California voters say that the state's housing affordability crisis is so bad that they've considered moving, and 60% of the electorate supports rent control, according to new statewide polls. The findings from UC Berkeley Institute of Governmental Studies reflect broad concerns Californians have over the soaring cost of living. Amid an unprecedented housing shortage, rents have skyrocketed and tenants have faced mass evictions, especially in desirable areas. It's an extremely serious problem, said poll director Mark DeCamelia. People are being forced to consider moving because of the rising cost of housing. That's pretty prevalent all over the state, especially up north. You go to San Francisco, you're going to get like a 600 square foot apartment that's going to be like 2 G's. That's like a single. That means you got like everything in one room. You can see the whole spot when you walk in the front door. The bathroom might have a door on it. $2,000. You got to be kidding me. Spiritual inspiration. I mentioned this over there when we were out camping. Fish falling from the sky with rain in northern Mexico. Exodus 16. What can we reflect on with that? What did the Most High do for us? Exodus 16 and I think I want the manna. Read verse 3.
Exodus 16, verse 3. And the children of Israel said unto them, Would to the Father we had died by the hand of the Lord in the land of Egypt, when we sat by the flesh pots, and when we did eat bread to the full.
I'm sorry, read verse 2 and then read down to 4.
Verse 2. And the whole congregation of the children of Israel murmured.
Listen to ungrateful, stiff-necked, hard-headed Israel. We begged, cried, and mourned to be saved from oppression out of the hand of the Egyptians. Most High delivered us from that. Now we finally get out of making our way. We found another reason to complain. Yeah, you saved us. Yeah, we're not oppressed no more. Yes, we're on our way to our promised land, but we're hungry. Damn it, Moses, what you got us doing out here? We was in Egypt. We was sitting by flesh pots, eating rotten meat from the damn heathen. Now we out here starving. Go ahead.
And the whole congregation of the children of Israel murmured against Moses and Aaron in the wilderness.
The hell does Moses think he is? You see what he got us out here doing, man? I'm out here starving. My baby's crying. Moses talking about the Most High is dealing with him and follow him. So they murmuring. Go ahead.
And the children of Israel said unto them, Would to the Father we had died by the hand of the Lord in the land of Egypt, when we sat by the flesh pots, and when we did eat bread to the full.
They said it'd have been better if the Most High killed us. At least we would have been full when we was in Egypt. Go ahead.
For ye have brought us forth into this wilderness to kill this whole assembly with hunger.
They said, Moses, man, you brought us out here to kill all of us. You just trying to starve us out. Go ahead.
Then said the Lord unto Moses, Behold, I will rain bread from heaven for you, and the people shall go out and gather a certain rate every day, that I may prove them whether they will walk in my law or no.
You see how merciful the Most High is? He said, look, I'm still going to give them bread. I'm going to make them go out there, get what they can on a certain day, and just see if they can follow that simple instruction. All right, shut up. I'm going to feed you. But you can only go out and get this certain amount every day. He said, let me see if they can at least listen to that instruction. Because you know Israel run out there and get the hoarding. They said, no. 1 basket a day. Nah, F that. We don't know if it's coming back tomorrow. That's what Israel would do, run out there hoarding like a mug. Yeah. Moses said, look, they can't even do that. I gave them food. I gave them what they wanted, and they still take advantage. Mexico City. A civil defense official in northeast Mexico say a light rain was accomplished by small fish that fell from the sky. Tamaulipas. Civil defense says in a brief statement that rain Tuesday in the coastal city of Tampico included fish. Photos posted on the agency's Facebook page show 4 small fish in a bag and another on the sidewalk. This happens in Honduras like once or twice a year too, and in Thailand. You see this? Now people say the Bible's a book of fairy tales, man. How you gonna tell me food just rain from the sky? Yes, I'm telling you, that's what happened. You need an example? Go down to Mexico, Tampico. They'll tell you. Go to Honduras, you'll see it. That's how you know the glory of the Most High. There's your boy. Let's go to Hebrews 12 and 6. Now we're gonna get to the devil, even more about him. Hebrews 12 and 16.
Book of Hebrews, chapter 12, verse 16.
I mean, he looks like a goblin. He looked like, it's something bubble underneath of that flesh that just look like it's just dying to come out, and it's just ugly if you lift off that mask.
The devil.
Hebrews 12, 16.
Verse 16. Lest there be any fornicator, a profane person as Esau.
Hey, look, the Most High is giving you the character of Esau. You read in Revelation 12, it tells you about the red dragon and all of that. That's all talking about Esau. We're not going to cover. We covered that umpteen times. We know about Genesis 25 about Esau. Now we're getting the characteristics of this person. It said this is a fornicator and a profane person. He said, if you let anybody be like this guy. Read.
As Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright.
Has no self-respect, no dignity, no morals, doesn't value anything unless it pertains to him and his prosperity. One morsel of meat sold his birthright. Okay? Jump over to Psalms 58 and 3.
Book of Psalms 58, verse 3.
Mm-hmm.
The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies.
Speaking lies. So, you see the character of him. He's going to speak lies. He's profane. He's a fornicator. He's the ultimate epitome of evil and wickedness. Christ said, you know a tree by the fruit that is bare. So it's not that we just talking about it. We're going to see really what is he up to. In Trump's America, white U.S. men are a bigger domestic terror threat than Muslim foreigners. So he paints a picture. Remember, we talked about this some months back about how he creates these different paradigms here in society. He gives you 2 options to choose from. And he creates storylines and agendas behind each one and uses propaganda to persuade you to choose one of those paradigms. So now he's telling you, look, the biggest terror threats are the Muslims. We need a Muslim ban. We need the wall. We need all this. But meanwhile, it's him and his own people that's committing all of the heinous acts and crimes and destruction that's going on within here. We ain't even talking about just, let alone the chemical warfare that he's engaged in. We ain't talking about the oppression. We ain't talking about the prison industrial complex. All the things that he's done to oppress, rob, steal, kill people here. He's talking about the damn Muslims. So he's created a false reality to say it's all them. And meanwhile, they're responsible for creating ISIS. They're responsible for creating Al-Qaeda. They're responsible for funding these Muslim terrorists and all of that. So it's almost like typical of a devil. I'm going to give you the training, the funding, the weapons, the money, and then I'm going to stab you in the back and tell everybody you the wicked, you the evil. And I created you. James Alex Fields, Jr., 20, from Kentucky, was arrested and charged after a car was deliberately driven into a crowd of anti-fascism protesters in Charlottesville, North Carolina. And you know what's so crazy about this? Everybody remembers Charlottesville and that whole protest and the engagement that the people of Antifa and the white extremists had over there in Charlottesville, right? There was a brother that he got a lot of like viral media exposure. It's a big picture of him, got his head busted open, he bleeding and all that. Anybody seen that picture? Okay. You know that brother just turned himself in. He getting charged with a felony for saying that he hit somebody. Now, mind you, there's an Edomite extremist. He snitches on the Jake. Everybody's in battle. This Jake get hit upside the head with a pole. He get jumped, beat up. It's all on camera, the whole nine. An Edomite says he got hit, blamed it on the Jake. Judge gets a subpoena and charges the Jake with a felony. Told him he better turn himself in because you wounded somebody at a rally. From what I can tell in the picture, he was the one that got wounded. Let alone the video that they're using to say was him. It's a damn Edomite wearing all black and hit the damn other Edomite. So it's a white dude that hit another white dude, and they're going to blame the brother that got his head bust and charging him with a felony. If that ain't the devil, you a damn agent. I'm telling you, get out. Yeah, this dude, he ran into it, killed one of his own. It was an Edomite female that he ran over in there. James Hodgkinson, 66 from Illinois, shot Republican member of Congress Steve Scalise in Northern Virginia. He was killed by police at the scene. Did y'all see that? The little Republicans had their little golf game or something. The little Edomite jumped out and started shooting up on the field and hit the congressman some months ago. That wasn't a Muslim. Wasn't no damn Arab did that. Jeremy Joseph Christian, 35 from Oregon, was charged with murder, attempted murder, possession of a weapon, and intimidation after two men were stabbed on a train in Portland. It was two Muslim girls that was on the train. The Edomite was jumping up. He was wilding out on them, and the Edomite stepped up and tried to protect him. This dude pulled out a knife, shanked him up, put him to death, killed his own. And he was protecting the damn Muslim girls. But the Muslims, they the enemy. I'm not defending Islam and Muslims. I'm talking the truth. Destroying the paradigm for, as Esau tries to say, I'm not the devil, I'm not the wicked, it's them. No. I see you. James Jackson, 28 from Baltimore, is accused of a hate crime for Timothy Kaufman's murder. Prosecutors say he traveled to New York to kill as many black men as possible. Remember him? Edomite went over to New York, stabbed and killed a homeless black man. Said that he was aiming to kill more. That's the lies that he does. As soon as he be born, speaking lies. But watch how deep it gets, though. Go to Isaiah 5 and 20. Exclusive Trump to focus counter-extremism program solely. You hear that? Solely on Islam, says sources. So in other words, he's saying, I'm going to take what's considered violent extremist groups. None of those exist except for the Islamic ones. So that includes white, all of them groups. It doesn't include us, as we're going to see in a minute. But read that Isaiah 5 and 20.
Woe unto them that call evil good, and good evil.
See, when you try to flip the script, and you try to make it seem as though your good is good and your evil is not evil. Moses said, woe unto them that call evil good and good evil. Go ahead.
That put darkness for light.
Cover up light with darkness. Lies. Go ahead.
And light for darkness.
Read on.
That put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter.
See, destruction is coming to him for doing stuff like this. So, in other words, and this is telling you, he basically took white extremists off of the FBI watch list and said they're not a threat. Meanwhile, they're, exercising their rights, storming, black birthday parties, Confederate flags rolling all up and down in there, threatening people, causing riots and disturbances up in Charlottesville. But they're not a threat. Washington, San Francisco, the Trump administration wants to revamp and rename a U.S. government program designed to counter all violent ideologies so that it focuses solely on Islamist extremism. 5 people briefed on the matter told Reuters. Donald Trump administration is reportedly pushing to erase neo-Nazis and white supremacists from the U.S. government's counter-extremism program by moving it to focus exclusively on Islamist terrorism. Now this one I want everybody to pay attention to. This is the new one. FBI terrorism unit says black identity extremists pose a violent threat. So didn't he just say, I'm just going to focus on Islam? But do you hear the words? Black identity extremists. So now, remember back in the Maccabees, they said it was even against the law to proclaim yourself to be a Jew. Meaning, your identity does not exist anymore. And if you try to claim it, you're an extremist. You're a rebel. If you even try to declare or research to try to find out who you are, we're classifying you as an extremist and you're a violent threat. You're trying to wake up, oh, you're a threat. So that's going to include, of course, Israel, the Moors, all them is going to be included. But see, they ain't out there turning the world upside down, waking our people up, out there on the streets, frontlining it like that. They in the little lodges. They doing all of that. Conscious community. They sitting on couches behind video cameras. They ain't out there in the streets like that. So guess who's going to be the primary target when it's all said and done? That's why they classify, black Hebrew Israelites. We never declared ourselves as black Hebrew Israelites. But they're the ones who create that paradigm and say that. We're never. We denounce the term black. But they put it to the public. No, the black Hebrew Israelites. Yes, those are the guys on the street corners, the girls, the head wraps, and all. No. The U.S. government has declared black identity extremists a violent threat, according to a leaked report from the FBI's Counterterrorism Division. The assessment obtained by Foreign Policy has raised fears about federal authorities racially profiling activists and aggressively prosecute civil rights protesters. The report, dated August 2017 and compiled by the Domestic Terrorism Analysis Unit, said the FBI assesses it is very likely black identity extremists' perceptions of police brutality against African Americans spurred an increase in premeditated, retaliatory, lethal violence against law enforcement and will very likely serve as justification for such violence. So they're going to say that black identity extremists, anybody that speaks out against police brutality, is inciting people to go out there and kill cops. Were we the ones shooting up people at the concert in Vegas? I mean, come on. But that's the lie that he puts out there. And then they'll use the example of the brother that shot the cops down there in Dallas. And even that had a lot of suspicious activity behind it. So who knows what he's trying to do? All I know is that he's definitely trying to put out the word that we're after you. You're on our radar, and we've already labeled you to put the fear and the threat. So what's that going to do to somebody who's looking out for the truth? I'm not trying to be on no damn FBI. I don't want to be an extremist, brother. I just want to learn. I'm good. Just know who I am. I'm going to fall back from going out on the street and all that to create that threat. The number of police officers killed on the job also remains a fraction of the number of citizens killed by officers each year. The number of police officers killed on the job also remains a fraction of the number of citizens killed by police officers each year. And statistics suggest that more white offenders than black offenders kill officers. But they're still pushing that agenda. No, it's the black identity extremists. They're the ones out there killing all the cops. Cops are endangered. Every black and Hispanic got guns and they looking at the cops with evil eye. They trying to kill them. When it's their own people that's killing. They just told you. It's more whites that's killing cops than it is black people. But that lets you know they don't care about all that. It's back to COINTELPRO 2.0. Believe the little agents, they coming in. If they ain't already around. They're going to try to shut it down. The new FBI reports that BIE violence peaked in the 60s and 70s in response to changing socioeconomic attitudes and treatment of blacks, adding that possible indicators today for BIEs posing a violent threat to law enforcement include violent anti-white rhetoric. Oh, white man's a devil. Violent anti-what? See, rhetoric. They say it ain't true. They just like saying it. As we pull out more proof, more evidence, more knowledge, and showing who he is. No, it's just rhetoric. Don't believe that. If you hear them out there yelling and talking crazy, let us know where they're at. SWAT teams are standing by. And attempts to acquire illegal weapons or explosives. What? This is the paradigm that they're putting out there. They talk bad against white people, and they're out there trying to get illegal weapons and explosives. So when a Jay come through here and he be like, man, I got the hookup on bombs and explosives, man. Y'all want to you better tell that Jay, man, get the hell out of here. Because you already know what he's trying to do and who he's working for. Where was I? The new FBI, okay. BIE appears to be a very new term within law enforcement. Foreign policy noted. Elsa Wade, the comedian activist with Black Lives Matter, says she feared the FBI's classification could deter people from joining protests and further criminalize anyone who was already in the movement. It ain't got nothing to do with no damn Black Lives Matter because that's funded by Esau. And we're going to show you, I'm going to show you in a minute, that even that is compromised and fake too. Here's some more. Speaking lies, Belle Gibson, blogger who claims she beat cancer with healthy eating, fined more than $400,000 over her lies. That's why it's important. Go to Sirach 10 and 8. It's important. Do your research. Make sure that you've completely examined and understood. Don't go off of these damn bloggers and these little WordPress posts of people, video. Do your research because it's becoming an industry to be capitalized on. Healthy living and eating, while it is very essential for all of us, but there's always a hustler out there trying to get you. I got you. There's always somebody out there trying to take advantage of the situation. This Edomite lied. She didn't even have cancer. She said she had brain cancer. She beat it with healthy living. She sold books, got an app, trying to get people to follow out there. She made a gang of money and said she was going to donate it to some charities, which she never did. An Australian cookbook author who falsely says she beat cancer through healthy eating has been fined for misleading consumers by lying about her charitable donations. This one says just about the charitable donation. There was another one, I think, in TimeMagazine.com that says she even lied about even having cancer. The judge had ruled in March that Belle Gibson's deceptive claims of donating proceeds from the sales of the whole pantry and a related app constituted unconscionable conduct under Australian consumer law. The book and app were withdrawn, and now federal court Justice Deborah Mortimer has ordered Gibson to pay a total of $410,000 for 5 contraventions of the law relating to false claims that proceeds would go to various charities. But she also lied about even having the disease. Read that, Sirach 10 and 8.
Verse 8. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another.
So, in other words, because of deeds like this, Esau is going to continually lose his kingdom. It's guaranteed. Unrighteous dealings, riches got by deceit, which he's notorious for, that kingdom is going to be transferred from one hand to the next, and the next one is going to be Israel. Is there any questions before I continue on? Any online? No? All right, let's move on. Look at these maniacs, and this is the type of display that you'll know. You know, write down Matthew 24, I think is verse 37. Let me make sure for sure. As Christ told us, as the days of Noah were, there'll be marrying and giving into marriage. Is it 24:37? Yeah. Now, it also said that the earth is going to be filled with violence in Genesis 6 and 11. Revelations 11 and 8 said that this place is going to be like modern Sodom and Babylon, or Egypt and Sodom. Just a sex robot alone. Look at what these maniacs are doing. Sex robot display model molested so much it breaks before anyone can actually use it. This is how lustful and sex craved these maniacs are. A damn sex robot they done broke. And it was just a model. It wasn't even ready for distribution. Unreal. Now, what did they do in Sodom and Gomorrah? Where's men at? Bring them out so we can know them. Lot, we know you in there. We want them. This is the type of mentality and spirit that's on them now. That's why the Most High said it's like modern Sodom over there. They are out of control. Ain't even real, and they like, oh, we want it. Ah. A sex doll was so heavily molested by eager men, it broke before anyone could actually use it or use it privately anyway. We're not entirely sure what happened to Samantha. They even gave the damn thing a name. But its owner complained that the $3,000 robot was left heavily soiled after being exhibited at a tech fair. Can you imagine? They tell me these ain't demons. Demons is out. That ain't even a half of it. Look at this. This is a different one. Sex doll sickos. World's first sex doll brothel is being bombarded with requests for pedophile and rape sessions by twisted pervs, the owner claims. So they're creating a brothel with fake sex dolls, and they said, no, we want them to be 5 years old. We want, rape sessions. We want to do Now, imagine when hell really goes down and there's lawlessness in the land, this is the type of mentality that people's going to resort to. Pure barbarism. They're going to lose their minds. Every fantasy, every desire, every wicked intention they got, they going for it. They figure it's all over with anyway. So you already see where these people's minds is at. They want pedophile and rape sessions with damn fake doll. Unbelievable. And this is what they're doing in the colleges. 5 college football players, including a son of a former NFL star, are charged in a hazing incident where they attempted to sodomize and beat a freshman before leaving him half naked in the park. What mentality do you have when your idea of initiation and fun is sodomy? Suburban Chicago authorities, 5 members of a Christian college's football team accused of hazing face felony charges. Did I mention this was a Christian college? Oh, okay. The DuPage County State's Attorney's Office announced Monday that the 5 Wheaton College players are charged with aggravated battery, mob action, and unlawful restraint. A judge signed arrest warrants and set $50,000 bonds for James Cooksey, Kyler Kregel, Benjamin Pettaway, Samuel T-Bose, and Noah Spielman. As this is what they considered a hazing incident for a football team. They sodomizing and beating up freshmen and leaving them naked in the park. This is unreal. And this ain't modern Sodom. Modern Sodom. Now this is why I said Black Lives Matter, political campaigns, all that, it's all phony. Go to Exodus 23:2. The lucrative businesses of crowds for hire. They have businesses where they have people standing by, just like a Hollywood set, where you hire extras. Same thing when politicians need crowds for support. When you need, remember what happened to what was it? Operation Wall Street. What was that one they had back in the day? Occupy Wall Street. All the little protests started with them when they wanted to go out there and stand on Wall Street. That died out. Black Lives Matter. Where's that at now? That's dying out. That's why when you sit back and you say, well, damn, all these damn Edomites in his, more damn Edomites in this, Jake supporting this. Where do you think they coming from? 1-800 crowds for hire. Read that, Exodus 23:2.
Book of Exodus chapter 23 verse 2. Thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil.
See, the Most High already laid out that law. He said, don't be following them to do evil. That's why you don't get involved in political campaigns and political jargon and all of that. Even if he wants to pay you $10 an hour and you're a struggling college student and you saying, well, I can use the money. All we got to do is go out there and hold up a sign and hang out. That's why anytime you see any of those political people that's out there questioning the people that's out there and they're asking them, what do you think about such and such? And they be like, get out of here, leave us alone. It's because they don't have no real political agenda, knowledge, or anything. They're just out there as a crowd. Their bodies to appear as though whatever political party has support. Next time you're watching a campaign rally for a politician or a glitchy premiere, see, even in Hollywood, they got paid crowds in there. Take a close look at the enthusiastic faces waving banners at the front. There's a good chance that some are paid performers. If they are, it is likely that one Adam Swart put them there. Los Angeles-based entrepreneur Swart has pioneered the support for hire business. His startup Crowds on Demand launched in 2012. He established himself as a popular resource for any party in need of guests. See, that's the illusion that Hollywood, politics, all of this, you don't know what's real and what isn't. People buying fake views and fake bot friends on Twitter. You don't know if I got 1 million followers, but you pay for 500,000, 600,000 of them, and they fake bots. So when you see the big movie premiere, people sitting in the crowd, a lot of them getting paid off. They're getting free tickets, just hoping people come. Don't nobody give a damn about none of this stuff no more. But they got to keep promoting the images, though. People are really interested in out there fighting. That Antifa, them though, fake organization, I mean, it's just ridiculous. So you got to even question what's going on out there publicly because it's all an illusion. Read Deuteronomy 28:66. Police are slow to probe a biracial boy's hanging in New Hampshire, family alleges. 28:66.
Verse 66. And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee.
See, one of the curses, the Most High said that we will be hanging, our lives will be hanging in doubt. A doubt of our lives, physically and spiritually. Go ahead.
And thou shalt fear day and night, and shalt have none assurance of thy life.
See, New Hampshire, they said this place is like 98% white. And this boy, his father's black, mother's white. I don't know where the dad is in the whole scenario. But nonetheless, he was out playing at the park, and some kids brought out a rope and was faking like they was hanging each other. They told him, why don't you try it? Slung him up on there and hung him. Fortunately for him, he lived. But he got the rope burns all around there, and they're trying to say that, oh, it wasn't racial. But how can it not be? When 98% of everybody else look like each other, you the one that doesn't, and you the one where the rope ends up around your neck and neck burns, and they told you the boy should have died. Over the past 2 weeks, the alleged hanging of an 8-year-old biracial boy has roiled the small picturesque town of Claremont, New Hampshire, as a few hundred residents gathered in town for a prayer vigil organized by local clergy on Tuesday night. Fresh allegations by the boy's family further rocked this normally quiet area. In an interview with Newsweek on Tuesday, the boy's maternal grandmother, Lori Slattery, said local police did not begin seriously investigating the incident until images of the boy's neck went viral on social media. They was going to blow it over if they didn't put it out there on social media. Cannibal killer. See, even the cannibals is out. The moral fabric of the world is quickly deteriorating. The demons is out. Cannibal killer shot by police after refusing to stop eating a woman he beheaded. And this is a damn African. A woman who was accused of beheading a woman and cannibalizing her corpse has died in hospital after being shot by police in South Africa. Apiwe Mapakula, 23, was shot in the arm, leg, and stomach outside his home in Mount Frere after officers arrived to find him eating the corpse of a woman. It's the latest incident involving cannibalism in Eastern Cape, after 4 men were charged with raping, killing, and consuming parts of a woman near Durban last month. So they over there cannibalizing and eating people up over there in South Africa. It's out of control. Is it just there? Russian cannibal couple may have drugged and killed and eaten as many as 30 people, police say. So when you're looking at, Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Hannibal Lecter, These damn Edomites is living that. Investigators believe that a Russian couple knocked their victims out with sedatives. That's why I tell people, you better get off them damn pills and drugs. You don't know what you're doing. And who you around. The skin, oh, no. The victims knocked them out with sedatives, then skinned them alive. Afterward, police said they ate parts of their victims, froze the remains, or packed them in jars filled with saline solution. At times, the couple tried to turn soldiers at the military academy where they worked into unwitting cannibals, slipping canned human meat into their food. People in the city of Krasnodar may never have known about any of it, not for a cell phone lying on the city street, authorities say. City police have arrested the couple, Natalia Baskiva and her husband, 35-year-old Dmitry Bashev, who authorities say may be responsible for the deaths or disappearances of as many as 30 people in the city of 750,000 in the southwestern tip of Russia, about 5 hours from Sochi. So far, Baskev has been charged with 1 count of murder, and the investigation is ongoing. This guy is 35, but you should see him. He looks like he's about 75. Completely demonic and decrepit. It's disgusting. These people, they ain't the devil, though. They're good people. Leave them alone. Here we go. Sex change regret. Gender reversal surgery is on the rise. So why aren't we talking about it? Now we're seeing the mind games and manipulation that they're doing. People are doing. I swear to you, I still believe Bruce Jenner was forced into changing himself into a woman to escape that murder charge that he got for killing that woman on the freeway. He had to be made the poster child for trannies. They made an example of him. Yeah, and he got off. He killed a woman. And next thing you know, he went full blown with the search, everything. And then he's on front cover Vanity Fair. He's winning ESPN awards. He's front page, everything. They said, you're going to be the damn spokesperson for the trannies. You want murder? You want to go to jail for murder? No, well, what do I need to do? We need you to play. We need you to establish a paradigm. We need you to get out there. Straight up. He probably was already twisted because he said, I want to still date women and all this other stuff. Then he started talking about, no, I'm not going to date nobody. He's all jacked up. But he ain't in that damn jail cell. So now you seeing some of the rest of them are sitting back regretting, saying, damn, I shouldn't have never did that. And they going back getting gender reversal surgeries. Too late. Hosea said, Deuteronomy 23:1, man cut off his private member, it's over. You can't come back trying to get it back on. This is another thing you got to see. When you see Hollywood, it's so crazy. Even they're being used in political campaigns and stuff like that. Takeovers and sieges of hostile other dictatorships. George Clooney was urged to spy on Colonel Gaddafi. So when you seeing, these Edomites going over there in Africa and India, quote, doing humanitarian efforts, these guys are working for the damn government, getting intel, getting in close with these dictators, trying to get them to turn. Because look what ended up happening. They ended up taking out Gaddafi when they had that old Coney, what was it, 2015 campaign where they trying to get that little African dictator that was deep in the hearts of the jungles, and they had Brad Pitt and all of them out there. Even Hollywood, man, these dudes is all fake, and they all working for the same people. Documents leaked from within the International Criminal Court have shown how its chief prosecutor, Luis Moreno Ocampo, was not shy about seeking the help of the rich and famous in his work to hunt down war criminals around the world. The disclosure is part of a haul of 40,000 documents obtained by the French investigative website Mediapart, and seen by the Sunday Times, reveal his contact with the Hollywood stars George Clooney and Sean Penn, as well as the wife of the founder of eBay. Didn't Sean Penn get access to El Chapo? And as you know, El Chapo's locked up? Come on, proof's in the pudding. They're all on the payroll. And meanwhile, they actors anyway. So give them a chance to really be a spy? I'm really undercover. That movie, Man, I forgot the name of it, but it's a cat that for he had the show The Gong Show back in like the 70s. And it was like a variety show. You know, you go out there with your talents. If they ain't like you, they hit the gong and you go sit down. Andy Kaufman, I think that was his name. Yeah. But they were saying that dude was like a double agent. He was working for the FBI. So, and they made a movie about it. I forgot the Man on the Moon, something like that was the name of it. But this is the stuff they doing. They ain't just acting. They're being used as political pawns too. Here, BIE is responsible for all of the terrorism and killing cops, but who's this guy? Texas Tech officer killed, suspect in custody. This Edomite, they went and raided his dorm room, found drugs and all that. This dude pulled out and killed a cop. 19-year-old accused of fatally shooting a Texas Tech University police officer at the campus police station Monday night. University officials issued an alert saying the suspect was taken into custody and that the campus lockdown order had been lifted. That was just this past Monday. Not more than a week than the other Edomites shooting up everybody in Vegas. But we're the threats. We're the ones calling for killing the cops. Las Vegas gunman shot security guard a full 6 minutes before opening fire on concert goers, police revealed. This here, that whole thing, I don't know what happened. I heard, saw the shooting, seen people dying. I seen the video where you could hear two different rifles and gunfires going off, which would indicate maybe it was two shooters out there. This guy shot a damn security guard 6 minutes before he started shooting everybody. Police delayed coming there. And then the damn security guard, this guy, what's his cat's name? Jose Campos, was supposed to come, testify and talk about what happened, and he disappeared. He's supposed to go and talk to them today. They can't find him. I don't know what happened. All I know is when he's speaking fair, believe him not. That's all I can tell you. Police have dramatically changed their account. See, as the storyline changes, they constantly switching up stuff. Trying to get the lie straight. They're trying to create the paradigm to make out what do we want to make people believe. Because it wasn't less than 24 hours. They hadn't even picked up all the gun shells before they was already running out there politicizing and saying we got to ban guns. They hadn't even figured out what happened before they had to start the damn late night TV show hosts and everybody talking. We gotta stop the guns. We need guns control. We gotta stop all of this. And it's like you don't even know what happened. And yeah, but anyway, we gotta politicize this. There's the guy, the mayor in Chicago, Rahm Emanuel. Obama's right-hand man, he said, you never let a good tragedy go to waste. Which means you take advantage of every opportunity you can to capitalize on situations politically. If it means somebody dies, it don't matter. Police have dramatically changed their account of how the Las Vegas massacre began October 1st, revealing Monday that the gunman shot a hotel security guard 6 minutes before opening fire on a country music concert, raising new questions about why police weren't able to pinpoint the gunman's location sooner. When they first went, they said he's on the 29th floor. Then they say he's on the 36th floor. So obviously they seen or heard or thought gunfire was coming from two different floors. Who knows? Officials have previously said that the gunman Stephen Paddock, 64, of Mesquite, Nevada, shot Mandalay-based security guard Jesus Campos after Paddock had unleashed his deadly volley at the Route 91 Harvest Festival, an assault that began at 10:05 p.m. and left 58 people dead and hundreds more injured. Wonder if we ever know the real story. For the Facebook users. Well, these new Zuckerberg IMs won't help Facebook's privacy problems. When you read the transcripts, he's talking about, when he was in college and he was explaining what he did. And let me read it real quick. So it says, an early instant message exchange Mark had with a college friend won't help put these concerns to rest. According to SAI sources, the following exchange between a 19-year-old Mark Zuckerberg and a friend shortly after Mark launched the Facebook in his dorm room. Zuck. Yeah, so if you ever need info about anyone at Harvard, just ask. I have over 4,000 emails, pictures, addresses, SNS. Then he said his friend's name. He said, what? How did you manage that one? And Zuckerberg said, people just submitted it. Zuckerberg said, I don't know why. They trust me. The dumb effers. Now, that's why I said, you be careful what you putting on Facebook and Instagram, Twitter, all that other stuff. We think that it's cool to share your pictures, share your life with everybody, but you are sharing your life with everybody, okay? And he ain't lying. He just got, and to show you how insensitive he is, he created an app to make some little virtual reality tour of Puerto Rico where you can be a little fake emoji, and they got the satellite cameras going all through storm-ravaged Puerto Rico, just making light of the situation. You a billionaire. You should be sending money over there. And then he backed down and apologized for it. Child sex offender awarded joint custody of a victim's kid. Write down Psalms 94 and 20. This guy raped and subdued a 12-year-old woman when he was 18. And now that she's 21, he's like 28. She went for child support. Or no, not child support. She went for like aid on the county or whatever. And they asked about the father. They ended up finding it was him. They made him sign a birth certificate and then gave him rights to the child. And they said, here's a quote, "Nothing has been right about this case since it was originally investigated," she told the Detroit News. "He was never properly charged and should still be sitting behind bars somewhere, but the system is victimizing my client who was a child herself when all this happened." So we see again, Esau's getting away with rape, murder, rob, still doesn't even matter. Let that be a Jay. Jay can't steal a piece of pizza without going to jail. But this dude, he raping, kidnapping, and then gets rights to the child and never gets charged for nothing. Wars, rumors of wars. I'm going to run through a couple of these. Write down 2 Ezra 16 and 1. It's going to let you know that Babylon, Asia, Syria. You just seen Donald Trump made his announcement today that he's cutting off the nuclear sanctions on Iran. Iran don't like that. You telling them, look, you can't have nukes. You can't have capabilities for nuclear power no more. We cutting you off. Iran ain't going to like that. North Korea hackers steal U.S. and South Korea war plans. So that lets you know the plan for war is already there. They hacked in and stole them. Great Britain. Their battle plans for war with North Korea. Top brass could send new aircraft carrier before it's had flight trials. As Trump says, only one thing will work after 25 years of failed talks. What's he talking about? So look, we've been talking for 25 years. The only thing that's going to work is if we sock him in the mouth. So you know Trump is dying to push the panic button and get the codes to start launching some nukes. University of Hawaii sends an email titled, "In the event of a nuclear attack." So even Hawaii is saying, look, be prepared. Nuclear attacks could come our way. Be prepared. Yeah. If they can get them over here, they will. Definitely. Last couple, we'll see. Hepatitis outbreak. Here, they're talking about it being a statewide epidemic. Well, meanwhile, it's really amongst the homeless community. If it wasn't like 50,000 homeless and you constantly not having the resources and raising up rent prices, all that, you probably could do something about it, let alone running experiments on the homeless, dropping them off in front of the missions and all that other stuff. They've been busted doing all of that. Last one. Lead influenced water linked to decline in the birth rate, the study finds. So what was the outcome? What was they trying to do with this lead in the water? The destruction of our people? Remember, Psalms 83. They want the name of Israel to cease from existence. They want to be able to control our population. They're doing a damn good job of it, still by poisoning our people. So they've led to a decline in the birth rate. Flint, Michigan, heavily populated by Israel. The devil is at work. and he's doing a damn good job. We got to arm up, Israel. We got to look ourselves in this moral mirror. We got to get back right with the Most High, who's really our protector, our shield, our guide, because we see the war is on. Biological warfare is there, physical warfare is there, the disease, the pestilence, it's all out there. You see the moral decline of the people. They cannibalizing, they raping, they desiring pedophile. It's out of control out there in the world. Okay, you're only gonna find comfort in these laws and the commandments and the protection of the Lord. It's the only way we're gonna get up out of here. All right. So I'm gonna close with that. If there's not any closing questions. All right.